KPMG believes that technology has become indispensable as tax regulations evolve and become more complex. And how can technology close the tax gaps in Nigeria? Femi Babem, a partner and tax technology lead at KPMG Nigeria, joins me for this conversation. Thank you so much for your time today, Olufemi. And I'd like to start by first, assessing the lay of the land to get a full understanding of what we're seeing play out here. We know that definitely over the years we've seen quite a number of systemic issues in our taxations, issues with complexity, compliance. We've seen issues with multiple taxation, overlapping levies, transparency. Quite a number of issues to deal with here, but I'd like you to speak to, how the lay of the land is looking and the role technology can also play in addressing this.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken. And I think the way to start this is to consider the fact that the focus of government at every level now is actually to increase tax collection. We see efforts made by government at every level to close a lot of the gaps that we currently have by way of policy, by way of processes, and technology has been a key part of that. There's a positive correlation based on evidence locally that for governments and tax authorities that have implemented or have put technology at the forefront, there's a positive correlation between them or the results that they get and the level of technology adoption that we've gone through. So take Lagos State, for example, that has hit the 1 trillion mark in terms of collection. Take FRS also, for example, that has exceeded the budget that was set for themselves in 2024. So that positive correlation shows clearly that for tax authorities that want to improve tax collection, for states that want to improve collection, technology has to be a key enabler and a leverage to be able to achieve that.
Yeah, because when you look at what's playing out here, first, the government is also carrying some reforms right now. We understand that there's a public hearing that is about to happen on Monday. Yes. Quite a number of contentious bills already to be discussed in that space, and a lot of conversation around also how you get the informal sector properly captured in the tax net. I'd like you to speak to this as well.
Sure. So I mean, the benefit of the bill is that there are a number of provisions that provide some sort of succor for small companies, and many of the small and medium-scale enterprises you are talking about will fall within that bracket. But for them to benefit, part of the requirement is for them to register. So we are giving them like the carrot, to provide them the carrot to encourage them to register and then get them within the net. So using that sort of initiative would also help in covering those that are not currently within the net. And technology really helps because then they're able to register without necessarily having to come to to visit the tax office fiscally. And you can consolidate revenues across the different types of taxes using technology as well.
So let's look at what's on board here now with KPMG. I understand that you have this system called the tax orbit here.
Yes.
Trying to understand that a little more in terms of how, yes, it's technology that definitely we use to improve outcomes. You're saying that, but then I'd like to talk about how that is going to address challenges both at the individual level and also at the corporate level.
Okay, so what we've done with Orbit is to take the feedback that we've received from the market. So what we see with taxpayers is they have challenges with compliance, they have challenges with managing audits, they have compliance with even providing the data, right? And being able to analyze, show value to the business. And so taking that feedback, we've developed the Tax Orbit solution that does compliance management, that manages tax audits, and that helps them with document management together with workflow. So how it enhances compliance is that for companies, now when you go through audits, a lot of companies struggle to provide the documents or even respond on time. It also helps in terms of improving the quality of the returns that you filed because you have data that is available, you can show analysis, you can provide, it improves your reporting to the board as well. So Orbit helps both from the taxpayer side and even reporting to all the stakeholders, helping to close out audits on time, improves the quality of audits because in management of the audit you have the document and you have the reporting processes. Ensure that you are within time and can conclude on time. Yeah,
but looking at the lay of the land here in Nigeria, we're dealing with a very decentralized system here. We have federal government, state government, and local government regulators to deal with in terms of how you handle your tax obligations here. And I'd like you to speak to how then this handles those issues, dealing with the inconsistencies between tax regulations across board from federal, state, and local governments.
So I know that part of what the tax bill or what the presidential committee will or is planning to work on is harmonizing all of these taxes, right? Harmonizing taxes has to be a legislative issue. There's little or nothing that you can do from a process point. So legislation has to try and bring them together. But what we have done with OBIT is to allow companies report all your compliance. So whether it's corporate tax, it's personal income tax, it's value-added tax, you have one system where everything can be tracked and then managed, right? But from the public side, legislation has to come together. You know, one of the things I have said when I looked at the tax bill is that the major reason why you have multiple taxes really is the taxes and levies, the approved taxes and levies act that unfortunately hasn't been amended and will not be amended yet. So taxpayers, companies will still struggle a bit with multiple taxes, even with the new bill. But we expect that as amendments begin to come in, we'll begin to look at how to merge, remove some of the taxes, and then improve the system overall.
So what about issues with integration and compatibility? I can imagine that many businesses already have their legacy infrastructure already in place in terms of how they're going about taxation. The systems are already in place. How then will they handle this integration process or make it more seamless?
So something the FRS has done well, Ken, and I think even the Lagos State Board, is they've moved from fiscalization, which was where we all started from, where they try to attach something directly or a software or try to connect directly to your systems. But right now, now the FRS is thinking about launching the e-invoicing. And so that next phase, for example, doesn't need them to connect directly to your systems. They would use an API. So the API opens the port, you're able to connect, they extract the data in the site. And this aligns with the practice in many of the advanced jurisdictions, where you submit the document, they provide an API, you submit the document, and it's minimally invasive.
Yeah, but for non-tax professionals or organizations that don't have an in-house tax expertise available, then how then can they navigate this seamlessly then?
So the first thing is for companies who don't have a tax function in-house, you definitely have to invest in upskilling whatever the tax function that you have in-house is. If you can't leverage, or try and outsource some of the work, you have to upskill your teams. Beyond that is you have to acquire the right technologies. The way tax is going, you can't operate using Excel. You can't. It's not going to be sustainable. So you have to think of acquiring QuickBooks or any of the smaller software solutions if you're a small business. And as you scale, think of the bigger ERPs, SAP and all of that. So you have to equip your tax function. You have to equip both in terms of the capacity, the knowledge, and then in terms of technology as well. So equipping is going to be extremely important. And as you equip, the tax function will then be able to deliver the value to the business.
Quite a lot to look forward to. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll be looking out for the reform conversations on Monday. Femi Babem, the partner and tax technology lead at KPMG Nigeria.